So we got to the final day of the Australian Moth Nationals, sponsored by Zhik and CST, and the winner, Peter Burling. Pete, we talked about it on this week. You're already in pretty good shape there, but you've pretty much dominated this event. You've won it actually with a race to spare. All gone to plan for you?
Yeah, well, boat's been going really fast and tacks have been going really well. So, yeah, just kind of managing to keep it quite simple and yeah, do pretty well.
In terms of where the fleet's at now from a couple of years ago, falling tacks are now seem to be pretty common, whereas they weren't so much 2 years ago. Do you think, has there been a move on in boat handling that you're aware of?
Yeah, well, I think the standard was pretty high at the Belmont Worlds. It was obviously the last big event I did, and then it's definitely moved on a lot from there. I know there's not such an international presence here, but yeah, the level's pretty high, and I mean, you don't do a foiling tack and everyone catches you up, and it's kind of, yeah, you're pretty much nailing them every time.
And is there anything about your boat that's different and where you set your boat up that puts it maybe apart from the other Mach 2s?
Yeah, I've got slightly different wing tramps, different hiking straps, different bits and pieces, and just the hours you spend in making it right and fast, and yeah, I suppose those are the main differences really. Just every little bit I think works well for me on my boat, and I kind of know where all the controls are, where to put my hand, and for the controls, and yeah, it seems to be working well for me at the moment.
And since London, where you're a silver medalist, you've been sailing on a America's Cup 45. You've just turned 22, so you're pretty young in terms of the age of the fleet here. What else is on your sailing agenda going forwards from here?
Yeah, I suppose it's pretty up in the air at the moment. We're just deciding whether to go and do another 49er campaign. Kind of, yeah, hopefully get to do a bit of AC sailing, but yeah, not too sure what's going to happen with that. It's all a bit up in the air at the moment from talking to everyone, and yeah, obviously do a bit more moth sailing, really enjoy it, and yeah, it's really good fun.
And is there a moth fleet you can sail within New Zealand, or do you need to come here to Sydney or into Europe to sail the boat?
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a fleet back home. It's not the standard it is here, but at least the Moth, it's one of the classes where you can sail against the GPS and yourself and a few other boats, and you can tell whether you're doing well, whether you're not, and you can tell, it's so easy to tell whether it's a good tack or a bad tack, and a good job or a bad job. So it's one of the few boats where, yes, it is a lot more fun to sail against other people, but you can get a lot of value out of just hammering out some boat handling.
Now, you talked about GPSs. Nearly all the top boats here have a big GPS screen showing their boat speed. I can see the value in training. When you're actually on the race course, when you're racing, how much do you pay attention to your actual boat speed?
I suppose, yeah, almost looking at it like a keelboat. I suppose you kind of, except your modes, you'd change 4 knots or something in boat speed, probably from a high mode to a low mode.
And what are your numbers?
Yeah, so probably a high mode would be about 14.5, 15 knots, which would be really jamming it, and then you could go anywhere up to like 19s if you crack off a little bit, and yeah, it's quite often you see 20s coming to the top mark if you're a bit overlaid.
And what, in terms of starts this week, we've seen you starting up at the committee boat a lot of the time. What is your upwind mode off the start line? What are you looking for? Are you in high slow mode? Are you footing over people? What's going on?
Depends what the breeze is in. Obviously, yeah, if it's a bit of a knock and I kind of like the left, I'm stuck in a bit of a high mode to try and stay off everyone. And yeah, but I've had quite a few starts where it's obviously been pretty boat end biased all week, and there's been quite good right lines coming into, so yeah, quite a few of them I've been just sitting at like 17s, 18s, 19s, just kind of going over everyone and lifting pressure.
So that's upwind. What about downwind? Is the speed downwind? Do you actually have downwind modes?
No, not really. You're almost just trying to send it as hard as you can, and yeah, it's kind of, yeah, you definitely have downwind modes, but I'm not really looking at the speed so much downwind. It's more just trying to go as fast as you can, where the upwind you kind of, especially with all the weed around the other day, you can feel exactly when you're off your speeds. And I suppose it's almost a curiosity thing as well to see how quick you're actually going and to check things are right, and if your speed's up, you're going well. And yeah, like downwinds yesterday, I think it was the last run of the day, I was seeing a few 28s and stuff, and you just know that no one's going to be catching you when you're doing that kind of speed. Knots. Yeah.
And at that kind of speed, it must be quite hard to kind of spot the next gust, isn't it? Because they're like a long way behind you.
Oh, you're looking forward
all the time?
Downwind, yeah. So pretty much downwind. The gusts coming from the same place as upwind. So
it's like your 49, the same kind of downwind sailing.
Way further forward than the 49er. When I first jumped in the Moth, it's just jibing around the front of the pressure the whole time. So yeah, it's kind of, I suppose it's good for us sailing these things and jumping in the cats, because you're looking relatively similar places for the pressure and getting in it, and you kind of, yeah, when other people jump in these boats, they just sail around the front of the pressure and have no idea where it's coming from. But after a few weeks and a few races, you kind of figure out that it's actually in front of you downwind, and you would beat the balloon to the bottom mark, and yeah, it's pretty good.
So Pete, final question. You're one of the only sailors in the fleet who sails barefoot. What's all that about?
Yeah, I've just been brought up in New Zealand. I like sailing barefoot and always sail barefoot when I can, and it seems whenever I put boots on this boat, I miss the hiking strap and the tacks. So it's just, yeah, I've just always sailed barefoot. They're getting a little bit sore at the moment, a few cuts and stuff.
Can you sail barefoot in an AC-45?
The tramp's a bit painful, but I haven't tried yet.
Right,
I don't know.
Well, look, congratulations. A really dominant performance this week. Outstanding sailing. Pete, nice work, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.